Sahanavadu Sahanavunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti. Question: how should one start to practice reflection or mananam? Are there any guidelines for this? Are there any do's and don'ts we should follow? Example, the last week's class example of wrong reflection was given. By reflection on attachment, we will identify areas of our own attachment and then say that's where we went wrong. Okay. How should one start to practice reflection or manana? Are there any guidelines for this? Are there any do's and don'ts we should follow? See, when we say reflection, the mananam is the steps 2. The second step that is recommended in the process of gaining knowledge. The first step is shravana, listening. You listen. After listening, you reflect. You think. And then you go to the third step called nididhyasa, which is translated as contemplation. It is likely more than that, but as of now you can take it as that. So there is listening, reflecting, contemplation. These are the 3 steps through which you gain knowledge of Vedanta. Assuming that you have crossed over the first step, listening, shravana, you have to move to the next step, manana. First thing you need to remember is what is meant by manana. If you understand what is meant by manana, it will be easier to derive how to practice, what are the features there, etc. Great. Manana means mentally rolling over again and again what you have heard. This is called manana. Repeating what you have heard again and again. Those who are familiar with Tamil will understand. Urutru, rolling over. You see that same thing, you keep rolling. There are only 6. A dice has only 6. You keep rolling, every time you are getting different keep doing, keep playing. You have got only 52 cards, 52 cards in a pack. You can keep playing and playing and playing and playing and playing. Every time it is different. Every game is different. But fundamentally, how many cards are there? 52 cards are there. Nothing else. Chess game. 64, no?
64 squares.
Squares. 64 squares. It's all 64 squares you have finished. Everything has to happen within that 64 squares only. What are you doing? You are just going over and again and again and again. Every game is different. At the same time, it has to be functioning within this 64 only. There is no other chance. You can't go more beyond 64. This is called rolling over again and again and again. Because when I say mentally you're going to roll over, many people take it as I have to memorize. See, Mananam, many have taken it as memorization. Because for us, what happens is anything you mentally repeat, it gets into your memory. That's all. It's just a simple question of memory. That's why it's very easy for us to identify when a person speaks. You can easily identify what he has been reading. You see, you can clearly make out. Suddenly you see words changing, languaging changes. You know, a few years back you see the languaging, today you see the languaging, it has changed. That shows what? It shows that he has started reading something else, that's all it means. You can see that. I tried that few years back. I stopped studying Vedanta completely. Fortunately, blessings. All the recording was lost. We had these tapes, recorded. Tapes were there. All lost. I said, thanks. He told me, all recording Persian. I said, now I am free now. Because that pressure was there. I stopped studying Vedanta. I started studying some other subject. When you listen to those classes, whole words, languaging, everything is suddenly different. I said that from where you are speaking now, you are speaking out of memory. Remember. And I'm not saying it's wrong. Okay. But memorization is not mananam. Remember that. Because when you repeat something again and again and again, with reflex, it will come out. That is why in the class preparations and all that, people ask, do you prepare for your class? I said, I don't prepare. Because it is not possible to prepare for the whole class. Not that I don't want to prepare, not that I have so much of wisdom knowledge. It's a practical impossibility. You can prepare only, at best you can prepare for what? First 3 minutes. After 5 minutes of your class, whatever comes out is what? Don't say it is coming from wisdom. It's not coming from wisdom. From wisdom, even gossip will come. Still it is wisdom only. Remember that. I am talking about a class where there is a formal teaching happening. We think only formal teaching has wisdom, otherwise wisdom switched off. It's not like that. If I have wisdom, even if I gossip, that gossip is also coming from where? Wisdom only. I talk politics, that also comes from wisdom. Now you cannot say, sir, Vedanta, when you speak only, wisdom comes. So remember, always teaching can never come out of wisdom. Don't connect wisdom to teaching. If I have wisdom, that wisdom is available with me 24/7. No matter what I do. Right? So wisdom is not. So teaching wise, when you speak, when I say teaching, I am talking about when you are speaking. Any speech of yours. I am taking example of a class. A formal teaching. Where there is maximum conscious effort being put in. When you are not in that formal, it's like formal meeting when you are talking, informally the same group of people chat in the canteen. Same fellows only. Same fellows go and speak in the canteen is different from the discussion that they have in the boardroom. Both the places talking only, no? But there's a difference, right? Same way. In my context, it is class. In another person's context, it will be canteen and boardroom. That's all it is. So, remember this one first mistake that we make in understanding Manana. From the very definition, Manana means mentally rolling over the same again and again. Not different. The same thing you go through again and again. Invariably, we will make that mistake of converting that, making it into sitting in our memory. And it will come out from memory. That's why I am giving the example of all this. Number one, right? Since there is a question is about Manana. This is Manana. Manana doesn't mean, so Manana is not memorization, first one. Second one, Manana doesn't mean intellectual analysis. Manana is not that. If it is purely intellectual analysis, then professor of philosophy does far better analysis. Isn't it? You go to universities, you sit their class, they analyze. What is the difference between Dvaita, Shuddha Dvaita? In Dvaita it's a division. This is a division. What is that? Amazing analysis. But we don't call that as reflection. It's not reflection. So what is not reflection? Memory. idea going and sitting in your memory is not reflection, but it is repeating over and over. Then what happens? It is not intellectual analysis also. Your manana capacity has got nothing to do with your analytical ability. However, if you have a strong memory, it will facilitate mananam. If you have analytical ability, it can facilitate mananam. But these two per se are not mananam. That's all you have to understand. So 2 points. Coming to sir, I have to practice mananam, because that is also part of the question. How should one start to practice reflection? I have to start reflection. What should I do? First thing you need to fix in the process is define the purpose for you to engage in this exercise of manana. What are you striving to achieve? You are given the example of attachment. You've heard something about attachment. Right? When you have heard something about attachment, your purpose is what now? Is to understand what is attachment. You have heard about neutralization, for example. Another concept. Another class you come, some other concept is explained. Suddenly a concept like idealism, realism. Now, by knowing what is idealism, what is realism, in what way it is going to be connected to your life? At least attachment, neutralization, these ideas have some relevance. Whereas idealism, realism and all this, in what way that is connected to your life? Waking, dream, deep sleep. You dream, correct. You sleep, correct. You wake up, correct. These three happens to you, no? Correct. Now, why these people discussing about it for text after text after text? How many discussions these people go through for that understanding? And they are not discussing in terms of what is the interpretation of my dream. That's not what we are discussing here. At least, if they do, we can understand that. Oh, in the dream, if you get, I am flying. Hey, everybody gets it. You know? Have you got that dream? Flying? Falling. Falling. Certain dreams, you do get. And interpretation for that. If you are having the dream of flying, means you are a very ambitious person. I'm not saying right or wrong, okay? Something interesting for you. If you come to this Vedanta, waking, dream, deep sleep, waking, dream, deep sleep, waker, dreamer, deep sleeper, and then the waking world, the dream world, the deep sleep world, nothing. And suddenly, no, there are no three, there are only two actually. Another fellow says, there are not two also, there is only one. Which one? None of these three. At least, this fellow is slightly charitable. Three, okay sir. Three illada, two தான். Only dream, deep sleep தான். Waking la illa. At least he is discussing. Another fellow walks in. He says, not even two, only one. Which one? Waking, dream, deep sleep. No, Turiya. The fourth one is the only one. Now, all this, when you are discussing, when you are listening to a topic, first you need to decipher, is this idea possibility of having any impact on my personality straight away? Right? Or the ideas were standing independent of my personality. Like, when you are studying mathematics, imaginary numbers. When you are studying imaginary numbers, differential calculus, right? There. In what way that is going to be impacting your life? Is there any connection? Macroeconomics, microeconomics, when you study, is there any connection to you? Even if you study microeconomics also, but still, first step is keep this purpose. Agenda of yours has to be keep that reflection exactly like how you study differential calculus, how you have studied this economics, how you have studied history, geography. Why did you study all that? I have scored 95. I marked the rivers. I can define exactly what is the graph, what is the Ashoka's kingdom, drawn perfect. Why did you do all that? Is there any direct connection? But at the same time, there is a connection. You can't say it is absolutely not connected. One connection you can make. What is it? You want marks or not? Pass pannuma anam. That's all. My teacher asked only that question to me. Right? Pass pannuma anam. Yes, sir. Study. You may not be able to make a connection between imaginary numbers to your life. Differential calculus to your life. When am I going to use? Where am I going to use? Will it be useful at all? Standard example we give, Panipat War 1, Panipat War 2. What is the connection? When are you going to use it? Apart from getting the 2 marks. Panipat War 1, if you write properly, 1 mark. Panipat War 2 also you write 2 marks. Our problem is what? Every day in my house, war is happening. Right? People talk about World War 3. I see it every day at home. Yesterday evening there was a World War 3 about to burst. My house. Somehow I diffused it. Nothing big, iron button. That's all. World War 3. Will I worry about this or Panipat War? Huh? But still what? You have to study. You have to read all that. You have to go through these things for what? This is fix the purpose. What is the purpose? Exactly like how we studied your academical. Same way, try to study this as academical as possible. And the moment you touch few topics which seem to be having a direct impact, directly it is going to be touching the soft spots of your personality, keep those topics aside. Best example I give is this. To me, these are two of my popular examples. Both these ideas are having a direct impact on your life. What are they? Attachment as well as neutralization. Right? But when you read attachment, the impact that you get is not the same when you read idea of neutralization. What does it say? First contact of mango, it's X amount of pleasure. Mango comes down and comes to zero. Even after hitting the zero pleasure, you are not stopping the contact, you are still continuing the contact. Why you are continuing the contact? Because without the contact, you are experiencing displeasure, therefore you are continuing the contact. Knowing fully well that you can never hit back to this one, blah blah blah. You heard all those things, right? Will it impact you? Third one is idealism, realism and all. I say for reflection, if I am going to be taking a topic for thinking, I will not take attachment first. Nor I will take idealism, realism. I will take topics such as neutralization. Fascinating idea. Neutralization, I am saying. Why is it? It has a direct bearing, at the same time it is not. Exactly like the school student studying that particular subject, particular topic. Why? There is a direct bearing. What is a direct bearing? Want to pass or not? Because if you fail, it is very painful. Don't want to know. So, study. Direct. At the same time, does it have any impact on his personality? It doesn't touch the student's personality at all actually. But at the same time it does. That's why take up topics. That's why for reflection you should know what topic to choose. So choose an appropriate topic. How it should be now? This is the range. The practice of reflection. Step 1. 90% will make mistake in the first step itself. Having crossed, now you have to identify. Don't ask me. Right? Don't come back to me and ask, say, Ishwaran, can you give us a list of topics where we can sit and reflect? Won't work. I chose. When I started, I chose this. I said, I didn't want to discuss on attachment. You should make a conscious effort to choose a topic. Choose that. How you choose range is this: attachment, neutralization, pure theoretical. Safe one to start with, I would recommend is to start pure academic. Karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga. Immediately you will start asking the question, how should I practice karma yoga? How should I practice bhakti yoga? No. Understand what is karma yoga. try to understand Karma Yoga from various angles. Now you go to basic the definition of Mananam. What is Mananam? Rolling over it. Rolling over means what? Same pack of cards only, but you keep playing within that same 64 squares only, you keep playing the game. That's it, not more than that. That is Mananam. Having fixed that purpose, then come to the process. The process already started. Process starts from defining what is Manana, then choosing on what I am going to do the reflection. Having chosen the topic, stay with that topic for as long as possible. Don't keep jumping. Stay in that for a longer period of time. Second step, choose the topic. That's the purpose, to understand. Fix that. Then stay in that for a longer period of time. Don't say that, I am going to think about it for 1 week and then forget. Because why I am saying longer period is, after about 15 minutes, you will go blackout. If you are going to be thinking on utilization, let's say, after 10 minutes, what will happen? No thoughts will come. Okay, now what? You will hit a dead end. You will hit a dead end. You hit a dead end. Keep going and hitting the dead end. Keep hitting, keep hitting, keep hitting. When you keep hitting like that, is where the wall breaks and opens up a new road. Right? Now you cannot try to borrow that one from another person. That's not possible. That is Shravana. That's not Manana. If you are going to borrow that, it is Shravana. You are going to the previous step. That is a different. There the ball game is very different. The rules for Shravana is totally different. The rules for Mananam is totally different. No external. You have to do it. 10 minutes maximum in a day. If you sit for thinking on a topic, reflection. If you can stay on the topic reflecting beyond 10 minutes, you are fairly having a strong intellect. 10 minutes is not easy. Listening to a class is not a problem. If it is interesting, you can keep listening. It's like listening to music, Nice. If you like the music, you will enjoy. If you don't like the music, what happens? Torture. Same thing for the class also. If you like the class, it is this. Beyond that, it is not possible. Like yesterday's class. I was going it through various angles. After a point, nobody is listening to me. I knew that. You are there, basically. You are there. Switched off. Learn. After some time, you are not able to follow. But that took how long? After about 1 hour or so is where you get blackout. In Shravanam, possible. Why? Because of engaging, entertaining. External is there. So, some interaction is there. Something to keep you feeding. When you are sitting and reflecting, what you experienced yesterday, those who experienced the class yesterday. And if you want, I will give you next month another sample. That will not take 1 hour. 15 minutes is enough. You will feel that same as what you experienced after 1.5 hours. In 15 minutes you will go off. You will not know where you are, what's going on. Shravana rule different. Manana 10 minutes. 15 minutes. You can't even sit after that. Forget about all this. Step 3. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, that's it. Reflection cannot be happening beyond that. Not possible. If you are sitting more than 15 minutes in the name of reflection, you are not reflecting. What are you doing? Meandering. You are not reflecting. You are not thinking. Okay, that 15 minutes, that's how we know. If a person is studying, more than if he says that, I sit in the study table, if I sit, hours together I study. If a fellow says, that means what? He is not reflecting. Because hours together reflection demands very, very high intellectual capability. You can't do that. So 15 minutes is the maximum possible for an average person. Not more than that. Step 3. Every rolling over we saw, no? Right? Rolling over means what? You are repeating. Repetition means you go up and down, up and down. This is what we are doing. Or moving forward, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards. This is called reflection. When you are thinking, when you are reflecting, you are moving from thought to thought to thought. If you are just moving in one direction, thought A to B, C, D, E, F, if this is constantly happening, that is called meandering. You are moving from thought to thought to thought to thought to thought. That is mind. Jumping from thought A to thought B. Reflection. What you will do in reflection? You jump from thought A to thought B, and then you immediately get alert, focus on what has triggered you in thought A to produce thought B. This is called rolling over. You are all with me? Usually when we do thinking, what do? And thinking means what? I get a thought. That thought, next thought. And then next thought. Then next thought. A, B, C, D, E, F. It will just keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will keep going. In Manana, what you do? You don't allow the thoughts to move with such speed. What you do is, it is not that you stop the thought also. If you stop the movement of the thought, you are an aggressor. You are a violent person. That is violence. See, that is Vedanta idea of violence. stopping the thought movement is called violence according to Vedanta. Not hurting others. Non-killing. All are children. Kids talk that language. Vedanta says, what is violence? Ahimsa. What is ahimsa? Stopping when the mind is wanting to move, you are stopping. Now immediately we say what? I am going to practice ahimsa. What I am going to do? Let loose. You wonder. And you believe sometime the mind will get tired. Body will get tired wandering. Mind will never get tired of wandering. This is what people do now. In the name of, last generation, there is a group of people who said, in the process of mind control, what are you supposed to do? Stop the thought. Then some master came and told, no man, this is not what it is. Oh, you should not stop this. That means what? Hello. Immediately go to the extreme. No, says Vedanta. You are making a mistake. That is also a mistake, this is also a mistake. Then what to do, sir? That's where manana comes in between. In manana, what is happening? From thought A, thought 1, first thought. Then you get the next thought. Right? Then you get the next thought. Or I'll tell you 3A, 3B. If at all you wanted to make. Third step. In third step A, third step B. Third step A is you allow the thoughts to move freely for a period. Okay, move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Eighth thought, stop. Consciously. Now, start tracing your steps back. 8th thought. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What is Nididhyasana, sir? Nididhyasana is further refinement of manana. What is that? Moving from 1 to 0. That's Nididhyasana. Manana is not that. Manana is 1 onwards. Manana. Nididhyasana, 1 backwards. From where why did I get that thought? From nowhere, I am getting a thought. How? This is what Ramana says. Ramana's teachings are belonging to who? Ramana is 1 to 0. From where? He says. His teachings is go to the origin of it. Now, who is capable of going to the origin of it? Who has the capacity who has learned the art of tracing the steps back. Now, you read Ramana, what happens to you? You keep memorizing the thought, idea. What is it? Hridaya Guha. You hear that word. From there only all thoughts are emerging. Now, what you also do now? Eloquently you can give lecture. Like what I am doing. Eloquently you can talk. There is no problem. Why? Memory. No, reflection is not based on memory then. Then what is it now? Tracing your steps back. 3A. What you do? Freely allow the thought to move for a period of time. Neutralization. Allow the thinking to happen. thought will come. Some thought will come in you. I don't know what thought comes. Don't ask me. Right? Some thoughts will come about neutralization. Sir, neutralization, I'm not getting any thought. That means what? You have to go back to go backwards. What do you have to do? Do more Shravanam. Not fit for Mananam. That's why I said more than 10 minutes is not possible. I'm talking about highest is 15. Right? If people ask me, I say, Swamiji says, there are two exercises he always recommends. Practical exercise, two things. Reflection in the morning, introspection in the night. Both can be done only for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, you can't reflect. Beyond 5 minutes, there is nothing to introspect. Both cannot be done. All that you have to invest is 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes in the night. Your life is secured, according to Vedanta. Nothing else is needed. Our problem is that 5 minutes we cannot. 5 minutes, that's all. Because this exercise cannot be done. Because it demands tremendous energy. You think there's, a rishi sitting there. Now, sometimes we wonder, I don't know whether you people wondered, I really wondered. What this Ramana must be doing in that cave? I am Atma Brahma, I am Atma Brahma, I am Atma Brahma, I am Atma Brahma. Unfortunately for Ramana, that also he doesn't know. At least somebody told us what you have to do. We go and ask somebody, sir, what is the practice you are giving me? He says, practice, I am Atma Brahma. For Ramana, that also not there. Now, what that man must have been doing, sitting in that cave. You read that, but you never wonder what he must be thinking there. What is the effort that he has put in? That effort is not to learn things. Immediately you say, oh, does it mean we need to unlearn? Enna unlearn? Just play with words, Sometimes we really, appreciate what Vivekananda says. Intellectual gymnastics. Fellows are doing intellectual gymnastics in the name of Jnana Yoga. They are not following the traditional pattern. What are you supposed to do? Freely allow for a period, then 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. When you strive that, suddenly you will realize from 8 you have come to 5th thought. Then, how did I miss that? It's like a lift skipping. Imagine when you are coming down. Okay, this also you don't understand. At least you should understand when you go to fill petrol. From 100, you blink your eyes and open, it has come to 1500. Hey, you will stop him, no? Isn't it? That is not possible. That's why you keep on looking at you are supposed to. I am not saying you don't look at. Please look. Check whether he is starting from 0. And don't engage in conversation with the fellows there. You have to do. These are all other things I am saying. If something suddenly happens like that, you are supposed to get a jerk, isn't it? If you follow this, tomorrow if you try reflection, don't try today, you'll be off. Try tomorrow morning. Anyway, 5 minutes only. You cannot do more than that. Even if a fellow says, I've been reflecting for last 1 hour, he is faking. He is lying. That's what I did. I went and told my guru, I'm not able to. He said, not necessary. I know you cannot. Don't try. So all my colleagues were always had this problem with me. Do you ever study? Ranga used to ask me, "Hey, when you are doing college, you said I am studying Vedanta, therefore you are not studying BCom. Now I come here and see you are not studying Vedanta also." Hey, it's okay. Swamiji only told me what we are supposed to do. I asked him. He told me very clearly, eat and sleep. I am following my Guru's advice to the T. Reflection cannot be done if you are saying that I am doing more than 10-15 minutes. Not possible. Therefore, you don't have to worry. You try to trace the steps back. How the thought movement has happened. This is 3A. 3B is further advanced. Thought A, thought 1. From that thought 1, you consciously see the possibilities of triggers. How many directions that one thought can take. And choose consciously one thread. Now where are you? Thought 2. Thought 1 gave 4 probabilities, let's say. You can move in this direction, you can move in this direction, you can move in this direction, you can move in this direction. You have chosen 1. Again, that thought becomes what? 1. Now it is not thought 2. Now it is thought 1. Again, what is it? Branching. From there again, what is it? You consciously choose 1. Move. Stop at the 5th or 6th thought. Come back. And consciously make the choice of another one which you have thought, which trigger came in the first. Move in that direction and see what happens. This is called reflection. First thought. This is 3B. There are 2 more steps. First you pass this 3. From 4, 5 we can see. There are 5 steps in Manana. Don't think it's my idea, okay? It's not my idea. It's all taken from the Upanishads. Upanishadic idea. All there. First one, I repeat. Fix that thought. Which idea you are going to be reflecting on. Step 2, the duration. Fix the duration. Step 3, move forward and backward. Freely move forward, consciously move backward. 3A. 3B, consciously move forward, consciously move backward, consciously move opposite, forward, backward. That's how they do. Now you may think, sir, on what basis, how did you arrive at it? When you read the commentaries of these people, Bhashyas, they always take the Purva Paksha. What is that? Purva Pakshi is not standing in front of him and arguing. See, he's not there. Then how he is taking? Now the best is Ramanuja. He has, objections to this Advaita. And he defines what Advaita states. If you want to understand Advaita, don't read Shankara. That's a mistake people make, at least to me. To me, go to Ramanuja. Because they are giants. You see, that sort of intellect is not possible. By mistake, those people are born as human beings. It is a mistake. Freak. They are not supposed to be born as humans. What they do is, this is their honesty. You see, they are such honest people. They define precisely what Advaita says. Ramanuja, if you read his, don't try all that, okay, now. You will not be able to make any sense out of it. Right? He states, and then he gives his objections. What is he doing? His Siddhanta is what? Dvaita. Vasishtha Dvaita. Ramanuja, for example, I am saying. Ramanuja is his Vasishtha Dvaita. He moves in a particular direction. He comes to the basic point, consciously goes in the opposite direction. I am only establishing it is not all this reflection, thoughts is not mine. Otherwise, people will think it is my idea of reflection. This is the traditional method of reflection. What they have done is this. Consciously, they go in the opposite direction and then do what? Define it. Define the Purva Pakshi clearly first. After defining the Purva Pakshi clearly, then you move. Otherwise, you are not moving. See, this is the step. 3 steps. Third step has A, B. There are 2 more that I will give you later. Okay? Huh? Yes. That is what reflection is. See, what he is saying is, movement of thought need not be on the same subject. That is exactly the point. The point is, when I am reflecting, when I am thinking about, what is the topic we took? Neutralization. Suddenly I am getting a thought of contract is not signed. Why? In neutralization, you got the thought of, the example of mango came. That mango thought triggered, oh, summer has arrived. Oh, summer has arrived means we are in March, April. March, April means you are supposed to revive the contract. The contract needs to be renewed. The tax to be paid. Now what are you supposed to do? Reflection means what? Trace the steps back. What are you doing now? Forget, I am not saying it is right or wrong and all that, please. Reflection is just an exercise of what? To build your intellect. Intellect is what? Build your alertness. Alertness of what? Alertness of how your thoughts are moving. That's it. What has happened now? We can clearly trace our steps back. Say what? Why I got the thought? Because I suddenly remembered we are in March. Why did I talk to March season? In the season, mango season. Why mango? Neutralization. Suddenly you will say what? Neutralization ಆರಂಭಿಸಿತು. I am thinking about income tax. Stupid. Come back again. This is called intellectual alertness. This is called intellect. Intellect is not your analytical. People think, it's to do with, sir, how many, logic you have to study. Then you should not study Vedanta. Tarka is what you should study. If you want to build your intellectual ability, you should study Tarka, not Vedanta Shastra. Tarka Shastra study. And the scripture says those who study the Tarka Shastra will take birth as a donkey next Janma. Tarka Shastra experts become donkeys in the next Janma. I am not saying, that's what the Shastra says. Don't think all the donkeys are previous Janma. Scary, huh? But the tragedy, you know what? For Shravana, I said, no, there is a qualification. There is a qualification for Shravana. One of the qualifications is you should have studied Vyakarana and Tarka. You should have studied grammar. You should have studied Tarka Shastra before you come to Vedanta Shravana. Imagine if I ask you people, forget about you people. Imagine my guru would have asked me that question. Nada, Vyakarana. I say Sanskrit spelling e theriyadu. Now where we are going to do that? But the steps is that. Reflection means this. You go, come back. In the process of tracing your steps back is where your reflective capacity is. If you keep doing this, what will happen? That's what Swamiji would have heard saying. There is no connection between first statement and second statement. When he says that, people get angry. What are you talking? What he is saying is, thought A and thought B, is there any logical link of this thought should necessarily lead to this thought? Because this thought is incomplete without that thought, sir. Therefore, to complete that, this thought has to come. Correct. Now, if you start doing this, you will not talk. First thing, you know what will happen? All your talking will stop. Why? All that you have been talking is what? Volaral, petal, blabbering. A, B, going. And you cannot learn the art of tracing steps back exactly the same way. How it moved, you should come back. Invariably, if you do it, it will be from thought 8 to thought 5, from thought 5 to thought 7, from thought 7 to thought 4. Suddenly, thought X will come. You are discussing 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. Why? From where X came? So, which means something of that thought 4 has triggered X thought. This is called, the Gita, Krishna calls the mind is many branched. Many branched. What a casual statement. Now, if you understand the depth of it, you appreciate it. This is what you do. Only intellect takes part. Mind is silent. In the process of reflection, does the mind and intellect take part? No, only intellect takes part. Mind is silent. And our problem is what today? Our mind is not silent at all. The mind is constantly, parallelly chatting. Like when I am speaking, you are supposed to keep quiet. Imagine you are also talking. I am also talking, you are also talking. Impossible. You will not hear what I am saying. Forget about listen, forget about understand. You have to be, even if you are listening online, even if you are listening through YouTube, doesn't make any difference. You have to be quiet. I am talking to another person and listening to your class. That's not possible. You can do that in music. That also not possible, strictly speaking. The subtle music, if you go, you cannot. The gross music you can listen. The subtle music, the nuances of the music, if you have to appreciate and follow, you cannot be having another conversation, another action. You cannot be even doing your ironing. It's a mechanical action. That's what I used to do. Karma time, academy, karma time was that. They are also same exercise. I used to go and wash bathrooms. I am called as a person there, expert in bathroom cleaning. That's the instruction he gave me. He said, "Enna pandrathu?" I asked. He said, "Clean bathrooms." I said, "Okay." Fortunately, something occurred to me. I asked him, "How to clean?" I asked. I asked him, "Swamiji, cleaning bathroom, but how to clean? How should I go about it?" I asked. Fortunately, like Arjuna asked him, fortunately I asked some questions. I didn't plan. That's a redundant question to be asked. When I came out, I told, "Yes, not our meeting in Achin." Yes. Because there is no personal conversation we never have with Swamiji. Hardly. Once in entire course. Rest are all just to do with our effort or work. So this dining table, we were having lunch. A few of us were there. So they asked, "Nada, sonar." He asked me to clean bathroom. Huh? Yes. What did you say? For that, why, half an hour discussion with him for that. Half an hour what he was discussing. I asked him, "How should I clean bathroom?" Katana. I was teased for that for almost 4 or 5 months till they could get something else. I am glad that I asked. Asked me, "Do you have Walkman?" He asked. I said, "Yes." Take these tapes. He knows that I like music. He gave me a few tapes that he had. Take those tapes. Put it on. Listen to music and keep cleaning. And tell me what happens to you. asked him, what should be happening to me? What should be happening? Report to me. The gist of it I'm saying. What is that? After some time I told him, Swami, halfway through, I have not listened to the music in between for 5-6 minutes. I switched off. I don't know what you were singing. Not listening to that. Initially, I was listening to the music and cleaning. Cleaning was going on. After a point, what happened? Listening was happening in the backdrop automatically. He said, that's exactly what your mind is doing. It will keep happening in the backdrop. You will not even know. Your argument will be, my action of cleaning the bathroom is happening properly. No. In fact, Swamiji, I am able to clean the bathroom more efficiently. The chattering of the mind is happening in the backdrop with no alertness. What a loss. Stupid. Who cares? I called you to come here to cleanse your mind, not cleaning the things. Mind will not keep up, it will chatter. And the chatter of the mind will be happening parallelly. It's a parallel track. You got to cut that parallel track first. That is why I said reflection cannot be done more than 10-15 minutes. Impossible. 10 minutes itself is a fairly good. 15 minutes means you are a expert, master. The tragedy is today no spiritual guidelines comes in that direction. It's a tragedy. You don't get it. What to do? So follow the steps. We'll see you in the next class.